everyone, and thanks for joining us for another episode right here at the Sinkers Credit Union on Money Melee. Today is going to be a very, very special day and interesting day as we have with us Dr. Terrance Martin. He's a son of the soil, financial expert, and may I say he's our friend. Welcome to the show, Dr. Martin.
Thank you for having me, Sinclair. It's a pleasure to be here. And I celebrate you all for even putting these bits out there, the show out there for your membership to consume, because we have to reach the point where we let our money work for us.
So, Dr. Martin, basic question. How can our members understand money? What is money?
First, need to start by understanding their relationship with money. A lot of us view money as just a thing in our pocket, the paper, right? The green, the purple, what colors are gonna blue and all this.
All the colors.
The fancy paper that we win awards for, that's not money. All right, that's the paper, that's the physical representation of money. But what money truly is opportunity. Money represents choice. Money represents the ability to break generational cycles and generational curses. And money can be used as a weapon. Money can be used as the most charitable tool in the world. It depends on perspective, but also depends on what we want it to be for us, right? We have so many people that we grew up with, I think you included, myself, and we made different choices with money.
Correct.
You know, not everybody could get a loan, right, without assistance. But I'm certain you needed assistance, right? I needed assistance.
Oh, yeah.
So then we got the assistance, and then for us, money became a tool for us to elevate and bring about more opportunity.
All right, so Dr. Martin, a lot of our members, they started very humbly. You know, they didn't have much, but they're at a point where they want to invest. They want to make a start. What do you say to them?
You have to be hungry. You know, I find too often in our society, we have the expectation of things to be done for us. Yesterday, I was on a radio show, and somebody came on, they were like, okay, you're a financial guru, but why you don't just tell us all what to invest in? And I was like, so you want me to just give everything for free? That I had an event here on Saturday that people paid me to get. Oh, but I could turn on Jim Cramer. The difference, yeah, you could turn on Jim Cramer, but Jim Cramer get millions of dollars to do that show. I'm doing a volunteer thing on a local radio station, yet you want me to then, the $500,000 I spent on my education should just be given to you for free? You're not entitled to it. No. So you need a personal responsibility. The same way I had the personal responsibility and choice to go out and find information. It's the same way you can. Google is all our friends, but we use Google for the wrong things. We use social media for the wrong things. I find people scrolling on TikTok and Instagram for the next best cat video, or some ridiculous person getting embarrassed, or some ridiculous fight, or chasing some celebrity. We chase celebrities. We idolize people with money, and we don't put ourselves in positions to get money.
Right.
So what they do, it's your responsibility to not be poor.
Right.
It's your responsibility to literally find the avenues, because the avenues are there. This isn't 20 years ago, 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago, where things were out of reach. Technology has made things accessible. For all you graphic designers think it's not your market. It's not your only market, right? Any service provider, as long as you're not here with a product that's perishable, this is not your only market.
Correct.
You have a responsibility to research. Nobody should come and do the research for you. But I get the sense in the society. We always want somebody to do it for us.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's a syndrome created from the top. We've created an infantile syndrome all throughout our society, and we need to overcome that and do that in tandem with money moves, money growth, financial education.
And Dr. Martin, you're right. But we have members who are older. They're probably 45 going there, and they've never had the chance to invest. What do you say to them now?
When we reach to the ages of 40 and 45, we approach it with regret. We start to look back and like, crap, man, almost 70% of my life is gone. All right, so we have to forgive ourselves first and foremost. And once we forgive ourselves, then we accept where we are and realize that at 40 and 45, you have time. Because what tends to happen is we approach these ages and we see time as finite. We see it like, I have to do it by this specific time, especially if you work for government, and we start to have a real timeline on it. Because we either go 55 or 62, right? So now we either have 7 years, 15, 17, I can't really, 17 years. It's early in the morning. So we approach it with that type of fear, and that fear brings about angst, and that angst brings about the recipe, the perfect storm for even worse mistakes.
Right.
So then we start to get desperate, and we start to seek out quick money, instant gratification. And that's why all these little scammers around just see you as a breeding ground of like deep pockets, because you just give them everything, because your fear propels you to go out and say, and tell somebody your entire story. And just knowing bits and pieces of your story, they could use it to manipulate you to their advantage.
Right.
Right? But the reality is, what's going to happen because you start late, you're going to pay for those years that you could have started early. Meaning, whereas if you could have saved $100, you might have to save 1,000. So now what your focus needs to be is not how to hurriedly get to the goal, but how to get to the goal in the most painless way possible, because now we have to then find $1,000 in your budget that might not even be there. So what that means is sacrifice. But that short-term sacrifice you tend to ask people for, Mr. Sinclair, is like the holy grail to them, because they can't foresee giving up even the ounce of delayed gratification, of instant gratification, so you could have almost another 20 years of delayed gratification, right? So it's
and
a cycle.
You again, you hit the nail on the head. You're very right. But we have some members who are willing to try and make that step into investment. Now, the St. Kitts Credit Union has permanent shares. How can that help them with their start?
I mean, I'm assuming they get dividends, right?
Yes, you get dividends.
Just reinvest the dividends. That's it. You know, okay, let's go back. A minute there you said culturally we sought to have perspectives of money. It's not even culturally. Culture, I think, is recent. This is historical, right? Historically, we didn't have anything. Historically, there was no avenues for any sort of asset growth. And it was to the point where we were taught that we didn't deserve to own anything. A lot of these plantations, when they disbanded in the 50s, the 60s, some offered land, some owners offered land to workers. Think Frigate Bay, right? So when you see a lot of those properties over there, especially some of the largest lots, it's not because they were wealthy families. They got that money when coming out of colonialism and the plantocracy. They got that wealth. In that case, it just happened that Frigate Bay became the tourist destination. It could have very well be St. Paul's, right? And the people that got land there. So that was kind of luck, right? But then at the same time there, how many people didn't take the land? Because they didn't know what to do with it. Right? My grandmother didn't take the land. She ended up squatting somewhere in your town, right? I'm a Frigate Bay baby. I should be there, right? But no, I grew up in Newtown because my grandmother at that point, maybe in her mind, she didn't believe she belonged in this space. Or maybe she didn't want to work in a space that oppressed her. Or live in a space that oppressed her. So we have a lot of historical things here that we don't address. We treat our children, our approach to money, our approach to debt. Even before we talk about investing, we have to talk about how we view debt. We view debt as this worst thing, the worst thing that we can do. But I dare say any billionaire in this world has half of his wealth in debt. So this idea that poor people, poor black people, we should just go around life saving our way to what? An early grave? Because you're not going to save your way to wealth, right? You'll save your way to death. Not D-E-B-T, you'll save your way to death.
The grave.
Right? You ain't gonna do nothing in terms of legacy. You ain't gonna do nothing in terms of breaking stereotypes, because we have to change the narrative around debt. Debt isn't bad. The use of debt can be bad. The love of money isn't bad. The use of money is bad. Right? But these nonsense we've passed around and along generations is doing more to harm us than it is to help us, because it perpetuates the ideology that we can't have and we should just accept what we do have.
All right, Dr. Martin, you're giving us a lot of good information. For you, our members, we want to stay close. We have part 2 of Money Melee coming up soon.